All right, let's dive into Chainlink. You've probably heard the name floating around, especially in the crypto world. So today, we're going to break it down for everyone, especially those of you who are new to crypto. We'll figure out what it is, why people keep talking about it, and where it fits into this whole crypto universe.
It's kind of like this, it's a key that unlocks a whole bunch of new stuff that blockchain can do. Like, think about bridging the gap, between the crypto world, all that virtual stuff, and the real world, the stuff we actually live with, stock prices, and even like election results.
Okay, now that sounds really ambitious. Our source today, an informational article on Chainlink, calls it a decentralized oracle network. I think that's a good place to start. What does that even mean?
So imagine like blockchains are these super secure digital vaults. They're great at keeping track of information and transactions like inside, right? But they can't easily get information from outside. That's where these oracles come in. They're like these secure messengers bringing real-world data onto the blockchain.
So if a blockchain is like a computer, then Chainlink is how it connects to the internet.
Yeah, that's a great way to think about it. And the decentralized part, that's a big deal. Instead of just relying on one source of information, which, could be unreliable, Chainlink uses a whole network of independent nodes to gather and then double-check the data.
So it's like having a bunch of fact checkers making sure the information's good. Seems pretty crucial, especially with crypto, where trust and security are so important.
Exactly. And then it gets even more interesting when you think about this thing called the blockchain oracle problem. It's like this inherent difficulty that blockchains have in accessing outside data securely and reliably. Chainlink's founders back in 2017 saw this as a major roadblock and they decided to create a solution.
Wait, hold on. Let's go back to that problem for a sec. Why is it so hard for blockchains to get data from the outside world?
Well, blockchains, by design, are kind of like these closed systems. They're meant to maintain a secure and tamper-proof record, right? That's their whole strength. But it also means they're not really built to, like, reach out and grab data from sources outside their own network. Like, imagine trying to fit a square peg into a round hole.
So Chainlink is like the adapter. It makes those two shapes work together.
Exactly. And they did it in this really cool, decentralized way. Think of it as a global network of data providers, right? These nodes, they're part of the Chainlink network, and they each have a role in gathering, verifying, and then delivering the data to the blockchain.
And I'm guessing these nodes aren't doing this for free. What's the incentive?
You're right, they're not. That's where these LNK tokens come in. They're like the fuel that keeps the Chainlink network running. Node operators get rewarded in LNK tokens for providing accurate and reliable data. So it creates a system where everyone's motivated to contribute good information because the more reliable their data, the more they earn.
Almost like a game, but with real-world stuff at stake and obviously real value. It's pretty cool how Chainlink has mixed this high-tech stuff with incentives to solve this complex problem.
And it's not just theory. Chainlink is already being used in some pretty amazing real-world stuff.
Yeah, from what I've read, it's helping with everything from making sure NFTs are distributed fairly to even making saving money more fun. So this whole bringing data in thing, it's already making a difference.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And that's really just the beginning. What's even crazier is that Chainlink isn't just about bringing data IN to the blockchain. It can send data OUT too.
Hold on. Now you've got me really curious. We're going to have to explore that more because, wow, that opens up so many more possibilities, doesn't it?
Oh, it totally does. It's like opening a two-way street between the blockchain and the real world. And that's when things get really revolutionary.
Okay, before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's make sure everyone's still with us. We covered a lot in this first part of our Chainlink deep dive. Could you maybe summarize the key takeaways so far?
Yeah, sure. So we started by figuring out what Chainlink actually is, right? A decentralized oracle network, basically a bridge between blockchains and real-world data. We talked about the blockchain oracle problem, which is that tricky thing where blockchains struggle to access external information reliably. Then we saw how Chainlink, with its unique approach and these incentivized nodes, solves that problem.
We also touched on some of the cool ways Chainlink is already being used to bring data into the blockchain.
Okay.
But, like we just said, that's just one side of it. Next time, we're going to flip things around and look at how Chainlink can send data OUT from the blockchain to the real world. That's when things get super interesting.
We'll unravel how this whole two-way data flow thing has the power to change everything, from supply chains to how financial markets work and even, our daily lives.
So if you thought this first part was interesting, just wait. It gets even better. Join us next time as we continue our deep dive into the wild world of Chainlink. Back again for more on Chainlink.
where we're looking at how this tech is not only bringing real-world data into the blockchain, but also sending it back OUT.
Right, and I want to get into this data out idea because it seems like there's a lot of potential there.
It's a total game changer. Think
Yeah.
about it. We've already seen how Chainlink brings info from the outside world onto the blockchain, which makes smart contracts more, powerful and versatile.
Like knowing if it's raining in London to trigger an insurance payout or the price of a stock to make a trade happen.
Yeah, exactly. But what if we could also use that same level of security, that reliability, that decentralization to share data from the blockchain with the outside world?
Okay, so instead of using real-world data to trigger things on the blockchain, we're using blockchain data to trigger stuff in the real world.
Exactly. And that changes everything.
Okay, I'm with you. Give me an example.
Let's say you're buying, I don't know, coffee, and you want to know where the beans came from, how they were grown, all that. All of that info could be tracked on a blockchain every step of the way. But if it just stays there, it's not that useful to you as a consumer.
And that's where Chainlink comes in.
Right. Imagine you scan a QR code on the bag, and boom, you have the complete history of those beans, all verified by the blockchain, sent to your phone, all thanks to Chainlink.
So you're saying no more vague labels about ethically sourced or whatever.
Yeah.
I could actually see the whole journey from the farm to my cup. That would be a huge change.
And it goes beyond just consumer stuff. Think about supply chains, voting, healthcare records, even academic credentials.
Like Chainlink is building this like universal language for data so it can move freely and securely between blockchain and our normal lives. But I'm curious about the technical side. How does the data actually get IU to the blockchain? Is it the same nodes, same LANK tokens?
The main ideas are the same decentralized nodes. They're motivated by those LANK tokens. But for outbound data, there might be special nodes that format the information and deliver it to outside systems.
And I'm sure there are security measures in place to protect sensitive information.
Absolutely. Security is super important, especially with that kind of data. Chainlink has multiple layers of security to make sure the data isn't messed with and stays private throughout the whole process.
So it's not just letting all the blockchain data flow freely. There's a lot of thought put into doing it safely and reliably.
Exactly. Chainlink's approach is all about building a trustworthy bridge between blockchain and the outside world, whether data is coming in or going out. And as we move towards a future where blockchain is more and more a part of our lives, this kind of secure data exchange will be essential.
This is all really interesting, but before we go too far into the future, let's go back to what we've learned so far.
Good idea. We started by challenging the idea that Chainlink is only about bringing data into the blockchain. We've seen how it can also share data from the blockchain to the outside world.
And we talked about some really cool examples of how this data flow could change industries and give people more transparency and control.
It's a two-way street, creating a more open and trustworthy data world.
So now that we've laid the groundwork, I'm even more interested in what's next for Chainlink. What kind of world could this create, and what role will it play in the next chapter of the internet?
That's a great question, and one we should definitely think about. Join us for the final part of our Chainlink deep dive as we explore the potential of this technology to change our world in ways we can only imagine.
I can't wait to see you there. And we're back for the final part of our Chainlink deep dive.
We've come a long way, haven't we? From the basics of these blockchain oracles to the crazy potential of this two-way data flow between blockchain and, well, the real world.
It has been quite a journey. And I got to say, I'm pretty excited about what we've learned, but now I'm really wondering about the future. What's next for Chainlink? How could it actually change the world?
That's the big question, isn't it? And for good reason, there's just so much potential. Our source talks about Chainlink's goal to support all blockchains, and that's a huge deal.
So instead of all these different blockchains being separate, imagine them all connected, sharing data and value.
Exactly. It'd be like a global network of blockchains, all working together, each with their own, strengths.
And Chainlink would be the bridge that makes that happen.
Yeah, exactly. It's like breaking down the walls between, I don't know, think of it like countries. More collaboration, more innovation, just on a much bigger scale. Think of what that could mean for like decentralized finance, supply chains, even global governance.
Okay, wow. That's a lot to think about. But let's get a little more specific. What are some of the things on Chainlink's roadmap that you're most excited about?
One area that's really interesting is how these hybrid smart contracts are evolving. They combine the power of blockchain with real-world data, inputs and outputs, and that's all thanks to Chainlink's Oracle network.
Right, we talked about some examples before, like insurance policies that pay out automatically based on weather data or supply chains that can adapt in real time.
Yeah, and as Chainlink gets, more advanced, we can expect even more sophisticated and impactful stuff. Imagine contracts that execute themselves for pretty much anything, escrow, services, dispute resolution, all powered by data we can trust running on this secure, decentralized network.
So it's not just about things being more efficient or automated. It's about a totally different way of trusting each other and the institutions we rely on.
Yeah, you got it. Because these hybrid smart contracts are built on the blockchain, which is, immutable and auditable, and then they're backed by Chainlink's secure data feeds. So they bring a level of transparency and accountability that we've never really had before.
It's like building a new system of trust, especially in a world where trust is, I don't know, feels like it's in short supply these days.
That's a great way to put it, and that's why Chainlink is so exciting. It's more than just a technology, it's a catalyst for change. It could disrupt industries, sure, but it could also completely change the way we live, work, and interact with each other.
As we wrap up this deep dive, I'm left with, I don't know, a sense of awe, but also a little bit of urgency.
We've only just scratched the surface of what Chainlink can do. And the decisions we make now about how we develop and use this technology, they'll have a huge impact down the road.
So to everyone listening, stay curious, stay engaged, and keep learning about this amazing world of blockchain.
The future is being built right now, and Chainlink is a big part of it.
Thanks for joining us on this incredible journey into the world of Chainlink. We hope you learned a lot and got inspired, just like we did. Until next time, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible.